want to?
Sure. I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming today to participate in this awesome professional development opportunity for you. I want to thank Janette, who is our Oklahoma representative for Certiport, and Kim Johnson, who is with LearnKey. So thank you very much. If you go ahead and mute if you're not speaking so we don't get that feedback, please, that would be great. What I just wanted to mention at the beginning today, which I did at the end of the last session, and Janette was afraid that some people had already left, was about how to use your funding to purchase certifications. The rule that we have in our division is that if you are testing all of your students with the same certification, then you can use your 412 money for that. So for instance, if everybody's going to take whatever test, let's say Word or whatever, then it's okay for you to use your funds for that. What you cannot do is, for instance, test them, let's say in BrainBench, which by the way is changing. It's been purchased. We're going to discuss that at Oklahoma Summit. But let's say you're using that to test all your students, and then you had 3 or 4 students that did an exceptional job, and so you want to provide them the opportunity to take a Certiport test, which is a much higher level test. You cannot purchase it with your 412 money to do that. You have to test all of the students in your program with the same certification. So that's why you want to make sure that you're doing that. And of course, you can also bundle their curriculum, which includes LearnKey and whatever type of training materials you want to purchase from them. You can bundle that all together, and Janette will give you prices if you want to email her on that. But I just wanted to make sure you understood that. Now you can also use, Perkins money. Sometimes people apply for certifications through that. It just depends on how you write that application. So those are things that you can do as far as funding for these. Now, the other thing I wanted to make sure, and I know Janette's going to talk about that in a little bit, is make sure you go out to their website, because they have all sorts of resources for you there to use, including videos for each of the tests that you could show to your administration. Because we all know that a lot of administrators are only wanting you to use Google, and this is a way for them to see why that is not a good alternative. Now, we have moved away so that fundamentals of technology can be using Google instead of the Microsoft Office suite, but if they move on to the next level, they have to have the Office suite, so and training. And we all know that when you go out and look at those advertisements for jobs, which she's going to show you, you're not going to see any that list Google. They all list the Microsoft Office. So by using those videos that they've produced, you can kind of show that to them and show them why there's statistics behind why it's important for them to have this type of certification. So really, I think, is that everything you wanted me to cover, Janette? I think that was it. We really appreciate them taking time to do this for free for us. We've done this for a number of years in person. It's really nice to do this. One of the nice features this time with it being virtual is that Kimberly is able to join us. So I want to thank everybody for participating. And, if you have any other questions, we can answer those at the end. So go ahead, Janette.
Thanks, Jackie. I appreciate it. So I am going to share my screen now. As I mentioned, for those that are just joining, if you have questions during my presentation, please type them in the chat. And Kim will yell at me if it's something we need to answer right then, or I'll answer questions at the end. I cannot see my screen when I'm presenting, so I will share that and get started now. So this training is about an hour and a half. So good information. Can everyone see my screen okay? Yes. Jackie, will you nod? I can see your picture. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yes. Okay, so as Jackie mentioned, I'm the territory manager and Certiport contact for Oklahoma. I've been with Certiport for a little over 8 years. I've worked with some of you, and I love this. It's my passion to help you implement certification programs into classes that you likely already teach. The reason is I was in the staffing industry for over 10 years prior to Certiport, looking at resumes, trying to find the best candidates for my customers. And I will tell you, having proof of valid skills is definitely a way to separate and distinguish candidates. You know, and all employers do require software skills of some sort. So I'll cover that here in a little bit. So a little bit about Certiport. We have been in business since '97. We developed the Microsoft Office Specialist certifications that, as some of you know, are live in application. So we're the only company that offers that technology. So when you're taking a Microsoft certification, you're literally manipulating this software as you go. So since then, we've developed multiple other certifications the same. So Jackie mentioned another thing. We are globally recognized, meaning that our certifications are delivered in over 152 countries and localized in 27 languages. So they are recognized, you know, all over the world. It's not a state assessment or something that only a few people recognize. They are on your state approved testing list, accepted for A through F reporting, and are designated as industry endorsed. So we have a full pathway to certification as well. So we want to make sure that you have the tools necessary to prepare your students for these rigorous credentials. So we have learning material that maps to the exam objectives, practice tests that mimic the types of things you'll see on the certification to help prepare the students, and then the industry certification is the capstone. Here's our current portfolio of exams. They are, like I say, industry recognized and backed by the vendor. So when you take a Microsoft or Adobe or Autodesk, any of our certifications, the certificates are actually signed by the CEO of those companies. So it's not something that Certiport signs and validates. They are validated by those companies. They are psychometrically evaluated. You'll see performance-based, so either in application or simulation. They are proctored and secured, so it's not something that a student can just take on their own. 50 minutes in length, so they're meant for a high school class period. There are digital badges available for each of these, which I'll cover ACE college credit for some of these certifications, and they are available for your students to take from home without software. So we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Here are some of our learning partners, and we have every type of curriculum you can imagine, from textbooks, ebooks, video training. LearnKey is amazing, and if you've ever talked to me about it, I've likely provided you a demo because they are amazing. They have teacher resources that teach you what to teach, when, how long it's going to take you, workbooks, projects, all kinds of things, including reporting. And then and they are on the Gmetrics platform, so it's a single sign-on if you have Gmetrics and LearnKey, which is really awesome. But we do have a lot of other amazing vendors too, so it just really depends on the way you like to teach in your classroom, and I'm happy to provide demos. So today we'll cover program overviews for each of our products. We'll talk about some new things that we're offering, why certification is so important, the impact of COVID-19 on classrooms. We'll talk about some championships that we have that are really awesome, and we have some Oklahoma qualifiers as well that we'd like to recognize. And then Kim is going to provide training on LearnKey and Gmetrics so that you can prepare for your certification test that you'll take in 2 weeks. The nice thing about this virtual training is typically I come to 3 different technology centers, and we do this all in one day. So I walk through training, and then in the afternoon you test. So this will give you an opportunity to utilize the training over a 2-week period so that you're more prepared for the certification. So as I'm going through this, please identify the exam that you want to take. We have time for 1 certification on the 30th, so just let me know which exam you would like to take. Okay, so we'll get started with Microsoft. So Microsoft Office, again, is live in application. If you took a 2013 exam, you know that that is one project. So you complete tasks in a project and submit that one project. Where 2016, 2019, and Office 365 are multiple projects. So, and they're short. So you do a couple of tasks, you move on to the next project. So it's really broken down nicely. We do have levels as well. So for 2013 and 2016, you could earn a specialist credential by getting any of the certifications. Expert level, which you can take either Word Expert or Excel Expert. And then you can also earn a master designation, meaning you've taken Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access, or Outlook, and then 2 of the expert exams. Okay. For Adobe, we have CS6, CC13, and CC15 that are simulated exams. So you are not required to have the Adobe Creative Suite on your testing machines for this, but recognize you cannot use shortcuts or anything like that. It's asking for a specific way to answer the question. We have CC 18, 19, and 20 exams that are all live in application so that you're able to manipulate the software and get to the answer the way that you know how. And as long as it's correct, you earn points for that. So we have After Effects, Animate, Dreamweaver, Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, and Premiere Pro for those. Autodesk, these are live in applications, so they're compatible with 2018 to 2020 Autodesk software, and they're 50-minute exams. In the entire exam, you have access to all Autodesk software features, which is really cool. So you toggle between the test and the software. It will have you perform a task in the software and then answer the question. So it's really slick. 30 questions. Let's see, the next one we have is Microsoft Technology Associate. So these exams are designed to help students achieve a career in technology, and they're stackable. So they lead directly to higher level Microsoft certifications, including the Microsoft Certified Professional Exams, MCSE, MCSD. And you can see that we have an infrastructure track, database, and software. We also have professional level Microsoft technical certifications for Azure, for 365 fundamentals, and for Dynamics 365. These cover everything from monitoring and reporting, security, the benefits of 365 versus on-premise, understanding different platforms, cloud offerings, etc. One of our new most popular exams that we have is entrepreneurship and small business. And we see this across the board for any type of profession because it covers foundation level concepts and knowledge in entrepreneurship and small business. So you'll see here it covers the entrepreneur, opportunity recognition, starting a business, business operations, marketing and sales, and financial management. So I have cosmetology instructors looking at exams like this because it's, a way to help them understand how to start their own business. QuickBooks, we offer both online and desktop. And if you know about QuickBooks, it's the #1 selling small business financial software. 3 out of 4 accountants use it and recommend it. And so the online exam is 50 questions, and the desktop version is 47 questions, simulation and linear or multiple choice. One of the other new certifications we offer is app development with Swift Level 1. It's a new exam developed by Apple and Certiport to validate knowledge of the Swift programming language. So they'll learn how to build and run iOS apps using Swift. They'll learn skills needed to build iOS apps for iPhone and iPad. And the nice thing about Apple is all of their software, their curriculum learning material is free to download on any Apple product. And each level of learning has custom built curriculum that you can download and playgrounds so that the students can try different things as they're experimenting with the code. And here are just a few apps that utilize Swift. So, we use these apps every day. The next one is coding in Minecraft. So students love to be able to build worlds and things using Minecraft. And the pathway starts with an introductory level coding using MakeCode, and then an intermediate level using MakeCode, and then progresses levels to include JavaScript at an advanced level. And these micro-credentials are awarded for each course, and then the capstone is achieved by passing the proctored exam. And it serves as an on-ramp for future industry certifications like MTA for Python or JavaScript. Another very popular exam and one of our newer offerings is communication skills for business. So candidates for the CSB certification will be expected to be able to effectively communicate in a business setting, which helps because, they can have all of the qualifications desired by an employer, but they need to be able to effectively communicate, whether that's building their resume, knowing how to send cover letters, knowing what they should be mailing or utilizing email for, just different ways to communicate their skill sets. So the concepts include professional communication skills, verbal, nonverbal, listening skills, creating business deliverables, effective delivery of messages, and oral and written communication skills, as always, is a number one requirement for any employer. You can see next is project management, and then the Office Suite is the only software platform that is ever mentioned at the top of the top 10 required skills. The next one obviously is very important right now, cybersecurity. So EC Council is the International Council of E-commerce Consultants, and they are the largest certifying body of security technical professionals. They approached Certiport to build certifications for them to be utilized in a high school setting because there are so many unfilled cybersecurity positions. And just to give you an idea, so between January and September of 2019, there were over 7.9 billion data records exposed, which was a 33% increase from the same time in 2018. In 2020, the first quarter exposed records were pacing at an increase of over 273% over last year. So it just continues. I actually was hacked a couple weekends ago. My cell phone, I had over 4,000 spam texts within a 2-hour time frame, and it just continued. And then my credit card was hacked and all kinds of things within a matter of minutes. So it's crazy. And then Unity is, so that would be used for movies, 3D models, VR simulations, utilizing C# programming within Unity technology. So here are just a few industries that utilize Unity. Gaming, so Pokemon Go was developed using Unity. Also another cool thing is architecture and engineering. So you could utilize Unity software along with Autodesk Revit to build buildings and show what they will look like in a real rendering so that they can make changes ahead of time. 3 billion devices utilize Unity, so most apps on your cell phone. And over 40% of the top 1,000 mobile games are powered by Unity. So we have a lot of really cool, exciting things to talk about. And one program you may notice that I did not mention is IC3. And the reason for that is we just launched Global Standard 6. Now, this is completely different than what you've experienced in the past, where a student has to pass key applications, computing fundamentals, and living online to earn an IC3 certification. We've combined them to incorporate levels. So instead of 3 major domains like GS5, GS6 has 7, and they're all incorporated in each of these tests. So technology basics, digital citizenship, information technology, content creation, communication, collaboration, safety, and security are all included in each level. So level 1 covers digital literacy basics, level 2 covers digital literacy productivity skills, and then level 3 covers advanced digital literacy concepts, which would include problem solving, complex tasks, and the ability to teach others what you've learned. So each level is a certification. Another development is Adobe will move from associate to professional level. So if you've taken a CC 18, 19, or 20 exam in June of 2021, the Adobe naming convention will change from associate to professional because they are professional level certifications. You're actually manipulating and validating that you can utilize that software. So it will change. Now, Creative Cloud 15 and prior will still remain as the Adobe Certified Associate. In addition to that, the specialty credentials that we currently have will change as well. So next month, the specialist credentials will have a change to where you earn a credential that will say professional by earning the following. So visual design, you would be required to pass Photoshop plus either InDesign or Illustrator. For video design, Premiere Pro plus either Photoshop or After Effects. Web design, Dreamweaver plus either Anime or Photoshop. We also just announced a partnership with Project Management Institute, or PMI. So we are developing the Project Management Coordinator certification that will be arriving in December. And learning products and practice tests are already being developed and will be available next month so that you can start preparing your students for this credential. It was created by PMI, which is the world's leading association for project management, and it's designed for students interested in careers that involve project or program management, but do not currently have the prerequisites to take a professional level exam. We have also partnered with Resume Libraries, so they have an ever-growing database of candidate resumes that they serve up to hiring managers. So what we are doing is allowing students to earn a certification and then helping them add their resume to this library. So say that Susie passes an Excel exam, we'll give her an option at the end of the exam to say whether or not she'd like to submit her resume, and then we provide her information on how to do that. So it's just one more way that we're trying to connect the dots there. So there's a ton of benefits to industry certification. Obviously, they help improve grades, college readiness, career opportunities. And we do a study every year with the Florida Career and Professional Education Department, otherwise known as the CAPE Academy. And they do a report that shows programs without certification versus those with certification. GPA increases. They show their graduation rate increases significantly. Disciplinary action goes down and dropout rate goes down. And we see the reason for that is they're earning something that they know is beneficial. It's not just going to another CT class that they leave without anything that they can really utilize. It's something they can put on their resume. It's rigorous, so they know they have to work hard to earn these certifications. In addition to that, IC3, Microsoft Office, Entrepreneurship and Small Business, as well as Adobe qualify for ACE College Credit. And what that is it's a network of universities, or over 2,000 US-based colleges and universities that are part of this network. So they will allow you to submit your information to their network, and you can submit all of your information to these colleges, your transcripts. So there are 9 in Oklahoma right now where students can submit their transcripts. I know Western Governors University is another one of them that utilizes that. Also, each of our certifications include badging. So you can register your badges at acclaim.com, and it will show you jobs in the area or in the US anywhere, top employers, locations, titles, salary ranges, and you can apply directly through there and include your badge. And what each of the badges show is what skills you've earned by earning that certification. So it's really cool, and students love to see that as well. A report that I recommend that everyone look at is called Credentials Matter. So what that is it was a report that was released in 2019 by Excellence in Education, which helps states improve learning and outcomes for their students based on state needs and initiatives. And then Burning Glass analyzes hundreds of millions of job postings to provide the data and which jobs and skills are most in demand. So here are just a couple of facts that they released in that report. Career and technical education students who earn industry credentials are more likely to graduate from high school on time. We talked about that with Florida. It's evident, in multiple reports done by Indiana and Kentucky. And some other facts are that only about 19% of credentials earned by K-12 students are actually in demand by employers. And also, too often states label credential types that have no value in the job market as industry recognized. We'll take a look at that here. So this is the report on a national scale. So when they're looking at skills required by employers, you can see Microsoft Office is the top required skill for any position. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. So it's 100% undersupplied. There have only been 130,000 credentials earned to that time, with over 4 million skills required. Adobe is followed up next, QuickBooks, Autodesk, and on and on. So you can see here what is in demand versus what is supplied. So if we look at Oklahoma specifically, you can see, because you guys do report all of the credentials that are earned in the state. So if you look at the 5 credential types that they discuss, license would be mandated by law. So an example would be a CDL license or an LPN license. Certification in this context is something that sets abilities for specific jobs, such as auto service excellence or AWS for welders. Software certification is where Certiport falls. So it demonstrates competency of a specific software. So Adobe Certified Expert, for instance, for a graphic designer. General career readiness measures foundational workplace skills such as basic reading, math, financial digital literacy, like the WISE financial literacy or basic first aid. And then CTE assessment measures skills attainment for a CTE pathway. And these are usually state specific. So if you look at what is currently, where you guys are currently, and then what credentials are demanded by employers, you can see software skills are by far the most in demand. And certification is still and always will be the most important thing when you're trying to distinguish an individual. And with some graduates not having real world experience yet, certifications can prove immediate productivity to employers. And we'll just look at some examples here. So I pulled these jobs just the other day. These are specifically in Oklahoma. And I mentioned, so it kind of goes across the board. So the top left is looking, it's a construction position for a heavy highwayman construction, and it's project management, Microsoft Office. So imagine that your student has some construction experience, a PMI certification, and some Microsoft Office certifications that are going to be a valuable asset. Creative project manager, PMI, Adobe certifications, Microsoft. Emerging professional designer, you can see Adobe Creative Suite, the communication skills for business piece, and then AutoCAD. And you can look at these for any. So aviation, again, they're requiring Microsoft Office skills, communication skills. This IT generalist, specifically asking for Adobe, Microsoft. Software developer looking for Apple Swift skills. Office manager, 2 years of QuickBooks Online experience. This Hobby Lobby position, strong written and verbal communication skills, Microsoft skills, Adobe, and on and on. I mean, you could look at this, any position will list software, Apple Swift, Unity, EC Council, certified ethical hacker. So they're looking specifically for that ethical hacker certification. Coronavirus obviously has changed everything. So in March, everything shut down, changed the economy. Jobless claims surged to highs not seen since the Great Depression, and 91% of global learners have been impacted by COVID-19, and it's changed everything for you as well. I'm trying to teach a 3rd grader and a junior in high school, and I just have to say, I have more respect for instructors now than ever. You guys have a very hard job to do, and this has changed everything. But our students, I think, have shown us that the skills they're learning in your classes are helping them. They're jumping in and they're able to attack this challenge. And we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We have no idea if cases are going to continue to grow and we're not able to go back to the classroom. And there are tons of technology roadblocks that we were not prepared for, such as limited devices in a home, Wi-Fi access, so we see a lot of creative things happening. In the top left here, we see a teacher tutoring students from her front door, another teacher using webcams for their classroom, and another school that has partnered with a studio to provide an immersive experience. And sometimes it really does take a crisis to force change. So what Certiport has done, when classrooms closed, our testing business closed with it. We were completely scrambling, trying to figure out a way that you guys could still certify your students. So within days, we launched Certiport exams from home and had the option in beta testing within 3 weeks. And the virtual environment is nice because it eliminates many technology obstacles, including updating Compass, having software on the machines. We started with full service, so all Certiport employees were proctoring your students, and have recently introduced self-service so that your test center liaisons or whoever proctors for your students. Whoa, sorry about that. Something just came crashing down in my bathroom. Anyway, so they get a code that will launch and they can see all of the student machines in one window, can sign in as proctor and the students are testing. So they provide a code to the student, which they launch at their specific testing time, and they sign in and they're testing in the software. And we can deliver thousands of exams per day, which is awesome. Of course, we always prefer testing at the schools just so you can hold your students accountable for showing up and things like that. But this certainly is a way that anyone can test their students, and we love it. It's been great. We also provided access to free learning materials. So I know Jackie sent this out in your Monday Madness. I sent this out in multiple mail blasts about free curriculum for students and instructors so that they could allow their students to continue learning online. This did expire at the end of June, but like I said before, reach out to me anytime and I'm happy to provide demos. This is my contact information. I'm available anytime to answer questions. And then our onboarding team is excellent as well. They do training for all of our products. They can help you reset passwords, activate licenses, anything like that. So they're great to work with. Also, Jackie mentioned our website has a ton of information, training. Kim does live training for LearnKey on a regular basis. We have video libraries so you can look at success stories, competitions, etc. And here's a video. I'll just show you the one for Adobe just so that you can see what this is like. But you can provide these to your administrators. Let me see if I can get this to pull up. 1 second here. Oh, what did I do? Wait. Hold on, technical issues here. Let me see if I can fix this. Oh, can you hear that? I doubt it.
Not yet.
You cannot hear it. Okay, let me do this really quick. I'm going to stop sharing and then reshare and give it access to. Sorry, guys. One second. Let me share again and add audio. Maybe this time would be nice, right? There we go. Okay, so again, this is just an exam demo that covers an entire product quickly so that you could provide this to your administrator and explain what the program is.
You're a teacher, a good one. So you know the Adobe Certified Associate certification is a great way to give your students a head start out there. It's industry recognized for entry-level jobs. It can provide college credit, and it ensures they have the know-how to keep up. But you're thinking, just what exactly do we have to do to get these ACA certifications? Well, let's have a look. To get certified, your students need to pass a Certiport authorized exam in one or more of the Adobe applications. Adobe applications are timed and include knowledge-based questions like multiple choice and matching, performance-based simulated tasks, and live in-the-app questions to test a student's real-world capabilities using the Adobe application. And our live in-the-app versions on PC and Mac allow the student to work and test in the Adobe CC software that you use in class each day. Once they pass, they're added to Certiport's digital transcript database, receive an Adobe Certified Associate certificate for their college application and resume, and obtain a digital badge for their online profile. Getting started is straightforward. Certiport has plenty of resources to help teachers adjust their curriculum to include the knowledge and skills students need to pass the exams. And the best way for a school to offer the exams is to become a Certiport authorized testing center. To start, verify that your facility meets the technical standards. Register. It just takes a minute. Purchase the exams and populate your account so you can deliver them. Download and install the exam software on all computers to be used for testing, and then administer the exams. Certiport offers a full pathway solution that includes training materials, practice tests, and exam vouchers. Talk to your Certiport representative for details. So that's it. You're up and running with the ACA certification program, and your students will thank you for it. Now, all you have to do is do what you do best. Teach.
So again, those are just fun videos, and we have those available for every one of our products. So that makes it pretty nice to be able to share. We have national and world championships as well. I'm going to share the Adobe one just so that you can see that. I don't know that we've had a lot of people enter for the Adobe competition in Oklahoma, but it is awesome. They earn scholarships, they earn money, they get to compete in the worldwide championship if they place. So let me just show you this really quick so you can see what that's like.
Welcome to the 2019 Adobe Certified Associate World Championship.
The Adobe Certified Associate World Championship is an incredible opportunity for students all around the world to come together and have an incredible professional experience. In just a few short hours, they produce real marketing materials for a nonprofit client.
NABU was really excited to be the client for this year's Adobe World Championship. The students were asked to create some content for our Giving Tuesday campaign. So it's really great to be here with all these incredible students who are creating these amazing designs.
It's an incredible opportunity for them to show off their skills, to show that they can work under pressure. It's really an opportunity that most students never get to have.
The goal of our work is to inspire young people around the world to be creators, and clearly you all are leading the pack.
So you have 8 hours. The clock starts now.
It was really amazing to see the diversity and variety of designs that the students created. Picking out of 50 designs that were all so incredible and aligned with NABU's brand was really difficult.
I appreciate the vibrancy of it, but they kind of lost it. Is it just the best illustrator who's going to win? Because no, there's a whole lot of rules. I like this one. 39 I had it. 39? Oh, okay.
In this particular case, there was one project that stood out. It was efficient, clean, and conveyed all these aspects in one execution.
Are you ready to hear who the winners are? Our first place winner and world champion, Ling Yap Pan of Macau.
I didn't realize that I just won the competition, and I think it's still in a dream.
When I wasn't in the top 10, I just thought, oh, I'm not going to win anything. And then when they called my name at third place, I was just surprised and extremely happy.
Estoy muy feliz de poder quedar en el segundo puesto. Me hubiera encantado quedar en el primero, pero igual celebro esta victoria.
La medalla de oro fue para
Thưa quý vị, tối qua đội tuyển của trường được ban tổ chức thi tại Việt Nam.
final between this week and the Adobe Certified Associate World Championship.
I look forward to hearing your voice as you find ways to express your ideas and make your dreams come true.
So as you can imagine, students get pretty pumped about these types of competitions. So I wanted to recognize some schools. We had quite a few qualifiers from Oklahoma for the Microsoft National Championship, which is awesome. Moore Norman, Francis Tuttle, Canadian Valley, Eastern Oklahoma Tech Center, Great Plains, and Central Technology all had students that scored a very high score and are selected to compete in the national competition. So it's the top student for Word, Excel, and PowerPoint that are invited. So if for some reason they're unable to go, the next person is invited, and the instructors would have been contacted by now. So this next video is a student success story coming from the world competition. Let me just share that with you.
Become the best in the world at these technologies.
My name is Ashley Masters. I'm 16 years old and I have 12 Microsoft Office Specialist certifications. It all started with a freshman required class at my high school. I was so shy and nervous. I didn't like the high school setting. It made me very uncomfortable. Having certification put me in a different mindset. It put me to feel comfortable and confident and like I really knew what I was doing. And that's something that a lot of high school students don't find. Then I started going to these competitions, of course, meeting hundreds and thousands of new people. I had to have confidence to step up and talk to them and communicate and start friendships and building relationships with all these people around the country.
She wanted to be good. She wanted to be good at everything she did. She just had a few emotional hindrances. You know, high school was a new thing. Certification has been a vehicle to recognize greatness in students and help them achieve that greatness.
My advisor, Mrs. Schmidt, she posted on Facebook, Ashley just took first place in Excel 2013, and a sponsor saw the post and they're like, no way, that's awesome. We need her to come work for us and she can train all of our employees in Excel. And it was crazy. I was like, no way, that's so cool. And then a week later, I had my first interview with them and they hired me on the spot. I was 15 years old. I started off with about 4 hours per week. I would have maybe 2 people I would train each week and I would have a 2-hour session with them. We'd go over projects. We would use their worksheets so we could improve them. And about a week and a half later into the job, they had an opening for administrative assistant and I was offered that job full-time, 40 hours per week. I would encourage everyone to get a certification. It's completely changed my life. I've gotten to travel the country going to these national competitions. Now I'm training at the local women's shelter and I'm teaching them certification. Next, I hope to attend Central Washington University next fall. I would 10 out of 10, hands down, recommend certification.
Become the best.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, I mean, that is it for me as far as the presentation goes. Let me just get out of here and stop sharing my screen so that I can answer some questions. All right. What do we have? Brandy, yes, I will provide the this presentation. I'll get it uploaded to Jackie so that she can share that with you. Raymond, of course. You are essential. We need you. Okay, and Chromebooks, that's a great question. So all of our tests are, you can use Chromebooks, except for Autodesk is a little bit tricky. We do have some students that are able to test utilizing a Chromebook on Autodesk. It's just kind of funky because you have to toggle between the two, and Chromebooks give a little bit of problem there. But yes, you could utilize Chromebooks for all of our exams from home. And I know LearnKey and Gmetrics right now are developing curriculum and practice tests where they are not required to have the software on their machines. So they're doing like a simulation for Microsoft and Adobe so that the students are able to still prepare. And Brandy, there is a site license per program. So each program is standalone. So if you have a Microsoft license, instance, you have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, expert level exams. If you have Adobe, you have all of those that I mentioned, so they are separate. And let me know. I can provide everyone with pricing for any of our products. So just let me know what you need. Also, if you tell me how many students are in your class or that you anticipate over a 12-month time frame, I can tell you which option is cheaper based on break-even points. And I love to go through that with you so you really understand that. Any other questions before Kim jumps in and does some awesome training to help you guys get ready? So Tracy, yes, the changes to IC3, as I mentioned, they are levels. So each level has all of the parts that you're used to from previous IC3 versions in each test. So level 1, it's going to incorporate all of the exam objectives in that exam at a basic level. Level 2 is an intermediate level, and level 3 is a higher proficiency. So you can earn level 1, level 2, level 3 with the exam license that you currently have if you have IC3, but they're just, like I say, different than GS5. So it incorporates all of the questions in one exam. Does that make sense? Brandy, of course, anytime, email me. I'm happy to spend some time with you. I also spend time with your administrators. If you ever have the need for me to do that, I'm always happy to get on a conference call with anyone who has questions. So definitely. All right, I am going to turn the time over to Kim. Let me, before I do that, share my screen with you so everyone can write down this code that you need. And it has both LearnKey and Geometrics and includes their full library. So go ahead and take down this number right here, because that is the code you will redeem to access the content. I will also type it into chat just so that.
Good idea.
Okay. So Kim, I will stop sharing my screen so that you can grab that. Did I type that right? 19120 Jim. Oh, it's okay. Yes. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see here. All right, hopefully you can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Okay. Well, welcome everybody and good morning. I'm really excited to be here. And as Jackie mentioned, we normally would do this in person. And yes, I would have flown to probably 5 or 6 states by now this summer. I fly back and forth and kind of help deploy big school districts and support amazing folks like Janette. So I'm excited to be a part of this today. This is so different. I'm doing a virtual conference almost daily at this point, both on the education side and company-wide. We have to do corporate ones as well. So this is new for us, right? What today I'm going to go through is LearnKey and kind of how we work, a little background. I've actually been with LearnKey. I'm the Vice President of Customer Success, and I've been with them for 12 and a half years. And what LearnKey does is video-based training centered around certifications and pretty much everything Certiport does. We work with CompTIA, we work with EC Council. So we partner with all of those entities to offer certification level courseware for each of those. What we're going to talk about today is actually LearnKey has been around for 30 years, believe it or not. And yes, our very first course was on a beta VHS tape and it was WordPerfect. So we've come a long way, which everything we deliver now is online. We've been a partner of Certiport for over 10 years now. But what changed back in 2016 is our partnership with them on a whole new level and with Geometrics as well. So as most of you know, Geometrics has created this amazing proprietary software that interacts live in the app. So you're working right in Microsoft Office, working right in Adobe. And what allows them that piece is what we wanted to partner with. So a lot of us are creating a lot of simulation labs and all of those, and Gmetrics offers a really great experience. We were the first vendor that launched with them on the online portal. So this is the student portal. So one note to make sure, as you guys are redeeming your code, make sure you're redeeming it on www.gmetrics.net. That's key. If you try to launch it from that Gmetrics desktop SMS icon, you'll kind of just get an error or say the code's not valid. And that's just because all of the LearnKey courseware needs to be accessed on the Gmetrics portal or the web browser version.
So, one note about that, because I had this question last time. Some of you are administrators already because you have Gmetrics, so you're not registering that code through your administrator portal. It's on the student site. Just wanted to make sure.
Perfect. Thanks, Janette. This is true. Okay, so we're going to walk through this as if you guys are going to go redeem that code. You can now. If not, this is being recorded so you can watch it later. But the first thing you're going to do, if you don't have a student account on Gmetrics, you can link it up through Clever, Gmail, Microsoft, or you can just click up sign up here. I believe if you already have an administrative account, it's easy to just duplicate that on the student side. So you're going to log into this portal, and the first area you're going to go to is redeeming the code. And that's just selected here on the left-hand side. So the code that Janette showed, you're going to enter that code right here and click redeem. And as she mentioned, she gave you access to everything. So she is giving you guys kind of the freedom to go in, utilize the courseware so that you can help prepare yourself for the certification exam. A lot of best practices, and especially in a time crunch, you guys don't have a lot of time. Like we're 2 weeks out, which is more time than normal, I think, if you guys were doing this training. So a lot of best practices are to go in and take the Gmetrics practice test first. So once you go in and do that and redeem that code, you can click on start a new test, and then you're going to choose a category from here. And so you can do communication skills for business. You can pick one of the new Microsoft Office courses, whatever you guys like to. So I'm going to just select Word, or I'll start with Word, but Office 2019 here. And once we select that, we have a bunch of options in here. And if you do have Microsoft Office installed, then great, you can move forward on the following up here. And I think Raymond was one that asked about Chromebooks. Those are the selected response. So if you guys are working on something that doesn't have Microsoft Office installed, you can actually start here and go the selected response test. So those would not require the interactive software. Ideally, you'd go through, start with training mode or a testing mode and go in and see how much you know, see what you score and try it out first and go through the practice test. So training mode is going to more give you information, give you feedback. It's not really simulating the exam, meaning the pressure of testing, and the clock countdown is really, because once you're in training mode on the Gmetrics practice test, it's really mimicking similar to the exam, where you have so much time and then the time's going to run out and the test will shut down. What you should strive for is around 800 or higher. A passing score is 700 out of 1,000, but we usually recommend to our adult learner students, try and set the bar higher and go for 800 or higher. Once you complete the testing mode or the practice test, you're going to see a results page, and that kind of helps streamline what you need to know and what you can streamline when you go back into LearnKey if you need to. So that's kind of the first portion that we recommend. So after you complete that and get your results, you can now come over to the courses area and then pick the correlating course in LearnKey so that you can visually now walk through everything you don't know. Maybe you're familiar with Excel, but you're unfamiliar with Sparklines, or you want to get more well-versed on some other topic in AutoCAD or whatever it might be. So now you can come back into LearnKey and go through the course. So I'm just going to click on Word 2019 here as well. Okay. So when LearnKey first, when we start a course, we actually receive those objective domains is what they're called, and they kind of break down the outline of what both Microsoft and Certiport consider you certified, and they both agree on that and create those exams. From there, they send those to us, and then we visually create a course around those objective domains. So as you expand each area, this is where those results page from your Gmetrics practice test, you can come in and see this is the domain, and then here's the area that I need to focus on. So that kind of helps you streamline your learning in the process. What What we do at LearnKey is visually try to showcase the software as much as possible. So probably 80 to 90% of the time, you're going to see Jason or Natasha, whatever course you're in, and the author is walking you through the software through scenarios. So they're showcasing, you know, format painter, cut, copy, and paste, launching something to a PDF or configuring it to a PDF. As you log in and out of the training, you're going to see a check mark land here on the left-hand side of each topic so that you know where you left off each time you log in and log out. Normally, if you are wanting to use this in the classroom in the fall, or you are going to have kind of a blended learning environment where some of this may be in class and working together, I normally recommend that a teacher would launch this as a student and up on the smartboard or the whiteboard. If you launch that and show the entire screen, this takes up your entire smartboard whiteboard, and you guys could watch it together as a group and then pause it, go through a discussion, or launch a project from there, or assign the video portion after this as homework as well. So as I'm going in and out of all of this, the system is actually tracking everything that I'm doing. So if I go in and take a pre-test, if I go in and take a post-test, it's tracking all of that information for you guys so that you can see what the activity is for the students. We also have closed captioning, so that's down here at the bottom. You can kind of enable that if the students need access to it. And then the full screen view for sure is a definite benefit. Okay. As we create these courses, we want to make sure we have a little bit of learning and a little bit of practice. So that may be in the exercise labs that we've embedded here in the lessons, or it may be a student workbook project that we have embedded here as well. When we used to create these courses, we would create probably an hour to 2 hours worth of video and then some practice after. And we got a ton of feedback saying, hey, we'd like smaller chunks, smaller bite-sized chunks, and then let's embed the videos and the worksheets right in with the actual lesson. So as you see us creating new courses, that's what we're actually striving for, is just to make it a lot easier and streamlined in smaller increments so that you can learn a little, practice a little, write and row. So as we go into the exercise labs, this would require in this particular course the Microsoft Office software to be installed. What we are working on and what Raymond mentioned earlier is what if my student's on a Chromebook? Between Word, PowerPoint, and Excel 2019 courses, we created over 240 in-app labs. So we build these labs or structure them and say, hey, here's what we've got, here's the template, and then we send it off to the Geometrics team and they build the in-app lab technology. Well, on a Chromebook, we know that a lot of them are not going to be able to download that Microsoft Office software. So for the last 2.5 weeks, we've been building a lot of simulation labs which are going to work on a Chromebook. So as Geometrics is building out solutions as well, you're likely going to see here in the next 2 weeks, probably I would say the 1st of August, 2 testing options here in our courses. If you have Microsoft Office installed, you're going to click on this lab or this test. If you do not, click here, and it will load one or the other. So I hope that helps clarify, but that's what we wanted to make sure Microsoft Office, that they're visually at least seeing something in a simulation environment at the very least. We want to make sure visually they know where everything's located. Okay, but for the exercise labs, this is going to launch the SMS. It seamlessly launches Word. It's grading everything that you guys are working on, and it's really testing to make sure you know where it's located in the ribbon or completing those tests. So this is where shortcuts, yes, are involved. You can go in and complete all the tasks here. This is also recording every single attempt. It never covers up a previous score. It's showing every single score. And I think I had Word up already with that code. That's why it's taken a minute here. So I'm going to have to say continue. So if you're working in Microsoft Office, you do need to close the applications if you have any open. It's launching Word right now. And I'll show you what it looks like. Here we go. So those that are familiar with Geometrics, it's very similar. Here's a template that's loaded. And then we have steps for completion. And then I can either save it or grade it for submit it for grading. So the one thing when you first download these, make sure you say yes and accept the templates. So it's a pop-up that's going to come up. Make sure you say yes, because otherwise it kind of errors out. And all it's doing is loading these Word documents in the background or Excel documents, depending on what you're working on. So the one thing that you have to remember is to submit everything for grading. So If it's not showing up, the scores on your activity report, which I'll show you where that's located, just make sure you submit everything for testing, and then it's going to give you the results that you're looking for here at the end. And I'll show you what that looks like here. So you can see I've taken it multiple times here, and no, I don't like that big red field, you guys, I promise. I will take this again and pass. But for my trainings, I kind of click through quite a few. So this is a post-assessment. We do recommend that they take the post-assessment and pass with 80% or higher. That's what we consider a passing score in order to move on. And what we do want also is to have them, allow them to review the missed questions. So if I scored, say, 50% on this test, if I click on review missed questions, this is going to load all the questions I missed and then give me feedback on each of those without changing the score of the 50% test, but help me better understand what I missed so that I can go back in and pass with 80% or higher. Okay, so ideally as they go through, or you guys go through each lesson, we have also included a student workbook here. And this is a combination of maybe fill in the blanks. And these are all downloadable PDFs that we include where you can type the answers right in. All you guys have to do is click on download and then just download this PDF, and these become typable fill in the blanks here, so you can turn them in electronically through a network sharing file folder. And then down here, as we scroll down, we've got individual projects. So this is the name of the project file, and I'll show you where you can download those. This is the name of the topic. So say if I'm teaching this in a classroom setting, we can launch this video and then from there pause it and come right into page, whatever this is, page 2 in the workbook, and then complete this project. The objectives that are covered for the certification exam, so that's aligning exactly where everything's aligned to each objective as well. So those are embedded right here in this lesson. And then the files that are associated with that student workbook are downloadable right here. So this is a zip file. Okay. So any questions so far on the structure of the course? I know I can see a flashing thing, Janette. Are there any questions that I need to answer right this moment?
No, not right now.
All right, perfect. So I want to show some cool features here at the top. We've created these for years. These are key terms and definitions that are helpful if your students are going to sit for that exam, or you guys are going to sit for that exam and you don't know the term format painter. It's just that little paintbrush in the top left-hand corner. You need to make sure you know all those terms, because that's what it's going to state right there in the exam terminology. Go in and change style settings, number this, this, and this. So to get familiar with these, you can come in and select all, or you can just select like the first 4, 5, and that activates a flashcard deck. So these are key terms and definitions we feel are going to be very helpful when you go to sit for the exam, to make sure you're familiar with all of those. As instructors, if you guys want to copy and paste this, drop it into a Quizlet software, you're more than welcome to. This is for your use and however you'd like to use it. Some teachers will create like a match game, or drop it into Word and create whatever they'd like from there.
Kim, really quick, Stacy wants to know if this integrates with Canvas.
So as far as integrating, what we do have, Geometrics offers an LTI connection. And so, yes, there is a connection that will, so if your students are launching this from Canvas, yes, you can launch that hyperlink and it comes directly to Geometrics, and your students can work back and forth and then close it out and go right back into Canvas. So as far as the setup, yes, there's an LTI that can connect to that. Okay. Now, how is it tracking everything? So we've got our activity report. LearnKey actually works. The other half of our business, we work with vendors like CompTIA or Certiport and create courseware. And then the other half of our business, we actually work with online students, and they are Chapter 31 is what they're considered, but they are disabled veterans. And a lot of these veterans are in the field, in the IT field, and then they're deployed, and then they come back, and they just need to get up to date on certifications, not a full degree program. So we've created these programs where we give them online training to help them get those certifications. And so, yes, it starts from Microsoft Office all the way up even through Cisco. When we do that, we give them milestones. And so we go in and say, hey, I want you to go into LearnKey. And this is all remote learning and what you guys are going through. And I know you've got high school students, but this is kind of what we do and what we support as well. So we usually start from the certification and then kind of backtrack from there time-wise. But we generally give them about 4 weeks in the LearnKey portion and the courseware. And then we give them a good week on geometrics, both in testing and training mode. And then we give them an extra week just to sit for that certification exam, but also give them time if they need to retake it or try again. So from beginning to end for an adult learner, it's roughly about 6 weeks. But as we're tracking all that, all of your students do not have to bombard you and say, hey, did I pass? Did I do this? Everything's being tracked on this activity report for them, and every single attempt will be listed here as long as they submit it for grading. So that's the key thing, is making sure they submit it and not just save it. Otherwise, it won't show up here. And then last, we have the course resources. So if you'd like to just download the full workbook and upload it to Canvas or whatever LMS you're launching this from, you can download the full workbook. Your students can actually click print to PDF and save those files and then turn them in electronically that way as well. So they can just download the page, save just that one page, or upload the full workbook every time. Okay, so the one other course that I'm very passionate about is the Communication Skills for Business. This is a new certification that Janette mentioned, but I am extremely passionate about it. I interview a lot of candidates for administrative assistants to technical support individuals, and a lot of them do not know how to interview very well. So all of them may have these, great degrees or the great certifications, but then just taking it that much further and kind of polishing their skills for communication, how to address a CEO, how to interact within the workplace, or how to do research on a website before you go interview for that company. That would be weird, right? So anyways, it really helps polish their skills, and this is a great course for them to go through as well, and then end in certification. So I think the only other thing I was going to show real quick before we move to the admin portal is just a list of all the courses that we offer. Certiport offers a ton of certifications, and we cover a really close, probably 80% of the courses that we offer are 80% of what they offer on the certification side. The only ones are probably Apple Swift, Unity, and EC Council are the ones that we don't offer certification courseware, just because they already have courseware that they provide.
One thing I wanted to mention too, Tracy, they are launching the new IC3 GS6 shortly as well. So that is almost complete.
Exactly. So level 1, we will have out by the end of this month, and then level 2 and 3 to come, because I think level 3 is the exams out in December, I believe, Janette, I could be wrong.
Yes, so level 2 will be available, I believe, at the end of September, and level 3 in December. So their courseware is following really close to that. That way you have preparation material.
Perfect. And then we do have the new Azure Fundamentals that Janette mentioned, which is this new category of Microsoft Technical Certifications. And then the ones with the asterisks, those are coming this fall and some winter, but we have the Office 2019, new QuickBooks, IC3. And then for those that maybe teach more on the technical side, we do have CompTIA courseware. I know that Certiport doesn't offer the certification, but Janette can sell you the courseware, which is amazing. We are partner with CompTIA as well for that. And those are great leads into the IT realm. So I think if we don't have any other questions on the student side, I'll move to the admin portal and show you some resources there and kind of how you pull reports and how to track that information. So for those of you who purchased geometrics already, you would get an email normally from Certiport saying, hey, congratulations, you purchased geometrics. Now you can go access your license here. The same happens for LearnKey. So when you purchase a LearnKey license, you're going to see in this access codes area both a geometrics or a LearnKey license. So she mentioned there are categories. You can do MOS, you can do MTA, and each of those site licenses or other licenses like a 10-seat, 30-seat can be listed here. As far as creating the codes, it's very similar to geometrics with a few small differences. If there are multiple teachers at a high school utilizing a license, like you're kind of sharing it, then I normally recommend best practices of just creating a code for each with the first 4 letters of, say, the teacher's last name. And then you can actually create a code per per class period. And so that's helps you kind of streamline the reporting features and already groups your students together before you even start. As far as the number of students, if I had 26 in my first period to start, we all know we're going to have last minute transfer students and we need to accommodate those. This is the only thing that you can't change once you've created a code. So make sure you update that or just bump it up a little to accommodate those last minute transfer students if needed. As far as the code, we have two options here, individual or multi-user, and I'd highly recommend the multi-user. That's going to give you one code for all 35 students. If I choose individual, it's going to be 35 codes that I have to keep track of, which I don't want to do. So I'd highly recommend multi-user. And then the expiration will default to a year, so that's fine. The students will have access to these for a year once they redeem the code. And then we're going to scroll down depending on what license you have. So if you just purchased the MTA license, that's all you'll see. You don't have to sort through everything like I do. But we've got the full LearnKey license here. The nice thing about the site license too is you can come in and start with Word. So say I just want to start with Word and then have the students go through Excel later, then they can do that. You can come in and edit the code and add that to the code later too. So I'm just going to start with Word and communication skills for business. Let's try that. So as soon as I click confirm, the second page is going to allow me to just double check, make sure everything is good. And then when I click create, this is now the code that I would use for everybody for class period 1. Okay. So that's access codes. And the reason you guys, when you share one, this can get daunting. So it's really nice to kind of set those up with the teacher's last names or whatever code you guys decide. It might be a school code or something like that. Okay, as far as resources, I'm sure a lot of you are going, how am I going to check all those fill in the blanks and do we have answer keys? And the answer is yes. So when you purchase a LearnKey license, you'll see, of course, resources here. And then you can just come in and click on a category. And let's pull up Word because we've used that one so often. So as far as the project files, on the student side, we show and give you the download for the start file. And then on the teacher side and here in the admin portal, we give you the start file and the finished file so you can see what it's supposed to look like when it's done. So in the very beginning, we kind of do a timetable and outline, but the biggest thing in here is, yes, all those fill in the blanks are filled out. So you've got your answer keys. Here's your timetable for managing your time. And here's all your fill in the blanks answered. And then I'm just going to scroll to the back of the workbook. Sorry if anybody's getting dizzy. I hate scrolling too long here. We include shortcuts for Windows so that your students can get really efficient. I need to be better about using my shortcuts. I think it would cut out my time when I'm sitting for the exam for sure. But what we also include in the back of here are the lesson plans. And this is really helping you guys map out what's covered where and how and why. So we've got the pre-assessment, or we've got the video-based training, how long the video is, if there's any exercise labs and how long they would take, the objectives for the certification exam and where it's aligned, the exercise lab names, so you can tell them which ones to go in and complete or, you know, get 100% on these, but then all of the projects by page and if there's a downloadable file associated with it. So this kind of allows you to say, hey, we're going to go watch Apply Text and use the Format Painter. See, there is one on Format Painter. And then now we're going to go complete these two projects after. So you can assign homework and distance learning kind of from this lesson plan as well. This also is going to give us a total here at the top. So if you're to utilize everything in the course, the projects, the workbooks, testing, everything, it's roughly about 5 hours just for domain 3. So you've got that top one and then a grand total that we can give you as well. Okay, and then the files that are associated with it are going to be located right here with those start and finish files as well. All right, the last area is the reporting features. So now how do I track all this information? There is a test report right here, which is the first default one. This is really tied to geometrics and any reports you're going to pull on the geometric side. And then as far as course reports and anything tied to LearnKey, that will be located on this back tab here. So the first one is the details report, and this is going to allow you to come in and pull reports and just backdate it. You can pull it by week, by month, or backdate it all. Say you get to December and your goal is to have your students pass that exam in January after winter break or whatever. You can backdate this far enough to just capture all the information, what they've completed, clear back to August or whatever it might be. So I'm going to show the Word one that we've been working on. And this will outline everything that they've been working on and look very similar to what we saw on the student side. But now, anytime we see a score report here in this little icon and click on the 100%, now I can see which ones they've gone in and passed. And look, it's mine. Yes, there's 100% passed right there. I did pass one. So you can download these and keep it in their student file, or just kind of a save to PDF here if you need to, or print them. And then we also include an export option. So this is a CSV file that you can launch and then sort it and put it into Gradebook or whatever you need to do with it after that. So it's tracking everything that they're working on. The second report is one of my favorites. And this one's kind of a transcript of sorts, but kind of a good overview, which is the student progress report. And this is where that code comes in real handy. So I can put in that Johnson code that I created earlier. I'm going to backdate this one as well for whatever date range I want to show. I can pull it by student name, course name. And as you can see, if I'm sharing a license with another teacher, you can see there's quite a few different categories here that I've got going on. So I can come in and sort by category. And then I also can say, hey, I want anybody with 80% or higher, because that's my requirement as an instructor. So it's up to you guys on how you want to pull this here. And then you can pull up this nice details report. So we can see everything that they've completed. And we can see right here, this little yellow icon, that just means they haven't passed with 80% or higher on the exercise labs. And this can be saved as a PDF, and then also this can be exported to a CSV file as well. So I think, are there any questions? That's kind of the overview. I want to give you just enough information to get started and to help streamline your learning process from now until the end of July and the 30th, and when you're going to take the exam, but not enough to overwhelm you. So whatever I can do to help, or if we have questions now, I want to leave enough time to do that.
So Kim, Brandy wanted to know, what is the approximate time frame for a student to complete an entire course?
Ah, good question. Okay, let me do this. Let me pull up a different page real quick. And Janette, are you familiar with that class hours flyer? So I'll make sure we have that and we can send it out to everybody here.
I've seen it. Yes, it's awesome.
Okay, so I have it here on this little mini microsite, which I'll send to you, Janette. So this flyer actually breaks down the amount of hours it would take for a student to complete each of these. So the only ones we do have to update this on a regular basis because we're releasing courses. So level 1 will be one of the first ones on GS6 that we'll release here. But these are the hours that we would take and whether there's a workbook included or not. So we'll make sure we can get this out to everybody so you guys have access to this as well. Okay.
Another thing I wanted to mention as well, Kim does live training. Mm-hmm. So if you purchase LearnKey and you're just kind of stuck on, you know, how to teach the program or you have questions, she does live training to answer those. Mm-hmm. It's really nice.
So those are live webinars every Tuesday and Thursday, and we try to accommodate Tuesdays around 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time, and then the Thursday is at 4:30 Mountain Time. And it's just so you guys can jump on, ask a question, clarify something if you need to. The difference between who to contact and when you purchase these licenses, if it's more to do with a code and kind of like your admin rights, that's kind of Janette and Geometric support. And any technical issues, and then anything on the curriculum side or questions about deploying this in the classroom and all that, that's kind of the LearnKey realm. So we kind of share the support because we're all partners in this, but the technical side definitely is more the Geometrics realm, if that helps clarify too. Okay.
Any other questions?
And I'll stop sharing.
You guys can unmute your line too if you have questions. That's perfect.
I just wanted to add a comment.
Okay.
You know, I think it was last year that I went ahead and did some practices and in LearnKey and Geometrics, and took the practice tests, and I was amazed at how much information I actually learned from just doing that. Because there were things that, you know, since I've been working in this position, I've gotten away from using some of those features. And I was amazed at how much I just learned from doing that. So I think that's a helpful tool as well.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, I have been an administrative assistant or in staffing or whatever and used Word my entire career. And I was blown away by all of the features that I had no idea were there. But I feel like I knew enough to take the training portion of the geometrics practice test, and it bridges that gap just enough. So these hours that Kim is providing to, you'll notice over the next 2 weeks, based on your knowledge, how much time it's going to take. You know, some of your students may know some things about Microsoft Office, or they know how to use it. So that cuts down that class time quite a bit as well. But you have it available. So you say you have students that are really knowledgeable about a lot of things, but they're struggling in one area. We have customizable practice tests as well that you can give to them that really focus on those exam objectives. And the videos are broken out in a way that you can see those exam objectives and have them just work in that specific part, which is really nice. Any other questions?
So I just dropped Janette too, and
oh, awesome.
The education solutions, it's just the microsite page, but specific to that class hours page I just brought up. You guys will have that.
Okay, so over the next 2 weeks, you can utilize this code to practice and to utilize the curriculum. But again, you're taking one exam on the 30th of this month, so in 2 weeks from today. So choose the exam that you're really wanting to take and focus on that and learn key and geometrics and go through whatever you need in that course. My gosh, I swear. At home training. Dogs barking, the Ring doorbell going off. Stuff falling off my walls. That's amazing.
Your Amazon delivery.
Anyway, yeah, so it will really just focus on that. If you wouldn't mind, just send me an email and let me know which exam you want to take. I have spots available for everything except Autodesk. So if there's someone who wants to take Autodesk, I can get that ordered as well. But yeah, I'm excited, and I will send you I believe the Wednesday before, so the 29th, I will email you your code. That all you do is launch that in a web browser and it'll take you right into the testing site. So you'll see Compass pop up, you'll put in your Certiport username and password, you will choose which exam you want to take, and then whoever's proctoring your exam will sign in and you'll start. It's awesome. Raymond, for IC3, if you want to take level 1 for GS6, that is on the testing machines. And I'd recommend that you do that. If you're looking at IC3, heck, you might as well take that new exam. Any other questions that we can answer? Well, I've got Kim here. I rarely get to bring Kim with me because she's really focused on large districts and things. Most states have a requirement for our certifications where the student cannot graduate without Certiport certifications. And so she really does a lot of training and help with that as well. I believe over 40 states have that requirement as part of their graduation. So she does a lot of traveling for that. So I'm so happy she's here with me. What's that?
Normally a lot of travel, yes. So
yeah.
I'm doing a lot of travel from my kitchen today.
Yes.
I'm excited, you guys. And I wish one of these days when everything gets back to normal, yes, that would be amazing to do this in person, and where we all arrive a year from today and all of you getting certified would be amazing.
And that's a good point. Another thing I wanted to mention, and Jackie, I know we always kind of have this come up. Instructors are more nervous to take these certifications than their students all day long because you think it says something about you, right? It does not. They're rigorous, and it gives you the opportunity to see what the students will experience and to kind of calm them, you know. We don't expect you to pass these exams the first time. We don't. It's, you know, they're difficult. It's not meant to just be something, oh, I just passed this exam and it's not a big deal and whatever. It's an accomplishment. And there's so many cool things that instructors do across the country. They have certification boards. So they'll put up their certification on the wall and they'll say, hey, if you can beat my score, we'll buy this or we'll do this, or you know what I mean? It's really competition and fun. There's a lot of different ways that they can make it fun. So any other questions you guys have for me?
You know, I want to say that we really encourage our teachers to go ahead and post any certifications that they have earned, because it shows their students that they have taken the time to do that. And also, as you know, when people take those certification exams, the time part is different, you know, and we have had some instructors who really struggled with the time part of it. And, you know, I know you've mentioned before to go ahead, and I'm not sure if you mentioned that today, about going through and making sure that you answer the ones that you can and then marking them and coming back. Because the time feature lets you see what those students are under, the pressure that they're under to get done in the time frame. So that's something to consider as well. And I sure appreciate both of you. You've been awesome. This has been such a great training. I appreciate all your efforts. I know it takes a lot of time on your part to do this, to help our instructors with their students. And you've done a great job with Oklahoma. So we want to thank you very much for helping us.
Well, I love you guys. You are so supportive and your instructors are so awesome. And everyone I work with is super passionate about getting it going and asking a lot of questions, because it can be a little bit overwhelming initially. Yes, son. Sorry, children now are coming in. But yes, you know, ask me questions. I am available and I will get back to you quickly. Send me an email. My work phone is tied to my cell phone now, so definitely any questions you have.
Janette, I know you sent an email to everyone last time. Will you include this recording with them? Because we will not get this posted out there for them to have access immediately. Yeah. So that way they will have that resource if they want to watch something again.
Yes, absolutely. So it takes a little while to download, but I will get it done and then send it to you. The only way I have to share it is through Dropbox link. So when I send that out, you just need to download it locally onto your computer to watch the full training, and fast forward and rewind, whatever you want. So yeah, I will get that done.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Yes. Have a great afternoon.
You too.